Very good. Oh, yeah. Hi. You might know about this or not, I don't know, but I've just spent a couple of years making a record, and you take some yes, sign was about some encouragement to do such things, and it helps me a lot to have the backing and the belief of men such as Louis Barabbas, whose label is out there. I mean, you know, these are all funny terms for us. It's not really business. We don't tell you it's not really business at all. But it's as good a thing as we can do, and it's wonderful to have had this person at home. Yes, Pascal. Yes. So, but even aside from that, altogether, all that nonsense I told you, even aside from that, it's my honour to present you now with Louis Barabbas. Give it up for Louis Barabbas.
Good evening, everyone. It's a real pleasure. I don't know if you've all heard the record, but it's really quite spectacular, and it's one of those ones you can listen to all the way through, and it just sort of lifts your day. Anyway, I'm going to do a few songs. I'm going to do some pretty songs, which I don't often bring out into public, but Mr. dePlume here said I should be out of my comfort zone for this one, so yeah. I'm out of my comfort zone. So this one's about a pirate having an existential crisis. It's semi-autobiographical. I am now all I'm ever likely to be. I'm the tick awaiting its tock. I've been drifting for days, watching the waves without considering the depths or the rocks. I stand before you unburdened of my prime. I've slalomed the slung darts of fate. So now scrub me down with the women that stuck around. It ain't never, but it's late. Without one single exception, I've loathed every man I've longed to be. So now I'm tying the loose ends to the throats of my friends on the shore as we push out to sea. Singing, row, row, my now she goes, don't suppose we'll ever return. By the end of this day, cast me away, stuck up the fire, watch me burn. I'm tired of asserting my sanity on this mad and miserable world. I've glutted my lust for quite long enough, and these girls all just make me feel old. So morph me into a fiction, rearrange my life so it fits. I'll leave you to decide, because believe me, I've tried what the moral of this sordid tale is. Singing, row, row, my now she goes, don't suppose we'll ever return. By the end of this day, cast me away, stir up the fire, watch me burn. Now stupefy me with religion, seduce what remains of my soul. For good or for ill, give me one last cheap thrill, a heaven instead of a hole. And squeeze the trees into paper, so my testament can be writ large. Beneath this swollen sky, we'll watch these dry, without nibs dipped anew in old scars. Singing, row, row, now she goes, don't suppose we'll ever return. By the end of this day, cast me away, stir up the fire, watch me burn. most of my songs are kind of crisis-based. I've been sort of rehearsing my midlife crisis, not for another 10 years or so, depending on, I suppose when the mid of the life is, I could be optimistic, it could have been past already, I suppose. But this one's about being in between lucky streaks, and it's called One Tiny Taste. Yes. There are those in the world who choose to die for what they're feeling, but their feelings would never choose to die for them. And if emotions had skin, half of mine would be peeling, like petals departing the stem. And there are no degrees of greatness, there's just greatness, then there's the rest. Luck is my drug, I just need another hit. Oh, one tiny taste, that'll be it. We're all formed in the forge of the rotten parts of heaven, without ever being told that we're designed to be. And it looked like it took a lot of time to learn all these lessons, but now time wanted anything from me. 'Cause I dreamt of a day when fate lost its teeth, and on pillows we lay with them hidden underneath. Luck is my drug, I just need another hit. Oh, one tiny taste, that'll be it. The verse I always forget. No, it's not going to come this time. There we go. But yeah, so it's a third one, so just to make it up yourselves. You know, it's all interactive these days. There's probably an app for it, I suppose. That's my satire. Good. Good. I'm going to do a song now, which is on the last Bed of Six record. It has a video where I'm walking a dog, and the dog owner is in this room somewhere. Anyway, it's called Living in the Aftermath, and it's about a man who's outside his wife's, well, his own house, knowing his wife is inside with another man. And it's not letting down the room. And he's wondering whether he should burst inside and avenge himself and his cuckolded ways, or walk around the block a few times and wait for it all to die down, and then go back as if nothing's happened. And he chooses the latter option, and sings this song in his head. You've got to do something. The light has gone out in your window. We are perched on the brink of dawn. But I am outside in the shadows, and I'm alone. But I am no stranger to this door. It was built with the sweat from my brow, and I lingered a while on its threshold before turning round. What I lack can be found in the looking. What I want is to be there with you. But some houses are better as ruin. Some people do. So darling, now turn my picture to the wall. Do what you must do. You say the shame lies we tell, but there's more shame than the truth. scorned all my cloistered virtues and the vices they may have produced. You say youth ain't the time for seduction. It's a time to be seduced. But when the watering holes all run dry, I will drink from the mirage. And when you meet me there, I will not ask why. I will just laugh. So darling, now turn my picture to the wall. Do what you must do. You say the shame lies we tell ourselves, but there's more shame in the truth. Far more shame in the truth. There is far more character and throwing her out the window, but one has to use one's imagination sometimes. Okay, I'm going to do another depressing song now, if that's all right.
Yeah! Misery!
Well, in many ways, all songs, no. Actually, I was thinking, when I was sitting outside and everything was being set up, and everyone was sort of coming from different places, it was a bit like, you know, in sort of gangster films where they have the meeting of the 5 families, and you have the New Jersey lot coming in, and then you have the I was running from the shadows when I saw you cast to. The more you give me, the more I've got to lose. Foes and friends differ in their forms of attack. Some go straight for your heart, while the other stabs you in the back. And I'm heading for a fall, but you can still grab a lift. Our love may have died, but it hasn't yet gone stiff. And we too have been through a dozen different hells. Now it's an insult to the glory of your sickness to get well. When you hide these things from me, I can tell. And time was still teething when fiends were fair weather, before we flew on wings made of skin and not feather. There's no sense in crying before the milk has been spilt. So let's skip the deed, darling, and go straight to the guilt. 'Cause the promises you etched on the water, they won't change when the rain comes and adds to the pool. You may feel like a lamb led off to the slaughter, but don't tell me you're bleeding, don't tell me you're bleeding, don't tell me, 'cause I'm bleeding too. Digging in shifts for the meager elite, who say life is God's gift and he's still holding the receipt, and we're all living in the place where the ghosts come to die. But don't tell me you're bleeding, don't tell me you're bleeding, 'cause I know you're bleeding me dry. Okay, I've got a couple more miserable ones, and then I'll stop there. I was thinking, yeah, I've been mulling this one over because it's quite long, this one, but I don't ever get to play it, and I figured that maybe this is the only time I could. And it's really a woman's song, but you know, it's good to sort of keep in touch with one's feminine side.
Is it miserable?
It's very miserable.
Yeah!
It's about. Hello to people behind me, so by the way. I'm quite interested in ghosts, but normally you have ghosts who have fascinating lives and fascinating tales about how they died, and they sort of tell those stories about how their heads chopped off by an axeman or whatever. But there must be many more who live very mundane lives, who mostly mourn the fact they didn't really do anything. And so I thought I'd write one about that, about a woman who, on the eve of her wedding day, had one of those deaths that doesn't really mean anything and it has no story to it. You know, she wasn't drowned or dragged off by a wolf or something like that. It's just one of those sort of mysterious ones. And so that's what it's about. It's about being a miserable ghost who didn't even get married. So, but yeah. But it features the highest note I can do. But not always one that lets itself be done. So I'll give it a go anyway. On my wedding day, they only rang one single bell. No witness came. You had me all to yourself. A willow veil and gown of long-leaf pine instead of lace, embroidered trains and dower twine of every muted shade. On my wedding day, fronds of fern were flower bills, their dresses frayed, and the rice replaced with earth. Love was my only journey until the dark swallowed me whole. Now no one will return me to your door. On my wedding day, limbs of trees strained to receive forget-me-not bouquet, though many called them wreaths. Of all the seasons, winter always tells the fewest lies, and on snowy days I slowly fade neath folds of bridal wine. Can a love start in a bloodless heart? Can it shelter my life in its shade? Will no one tell me why I was fated to die tonight for my wedding day? Wedding night, beneath a waning moon I lay, still as an ammonite, with thick coverings overlaid. I dreamed we'd been surrounded by peacock broods and damselflies, with lilies pressed upon my breast and silver in my eyes. On my wedding night I lingered long, but lay alone, no hint of morning light, and no dew upon the lawn. There's a wilderness within these walls, this box of coals, unanswered calls. Desire lives on, survives the fall, though we'll never feel this dawn. Can a love start in a bloodless heart? Can it shelter my life in its shade? Will no one tell me why I was fated to die tonight for my scarecrow in a field. Won't you take it down? Lay it by my grave, concealed. Of all the seasons, winter always tells the fewest lies, and on snowy days I'll surely fade 'neath folds of bridal white. Can I love starting a bloodless heart? Can it shelter my life in its shade? Will no one tell me why I was fated to die? Can I love starting a bloodless heart? Can it shelter my life in its shade? Will no one tell me why I was fated to die the night before my wedding day? One more, I don't want to get everyone's spirits too down, but this one is one of the few songs I've ever written in a major key. This one's in C major, which is normally quite a happy key, but not when I do it. This one is about, well, most of my songs are sort of fantasies. This one's about real stuff. This is about my actual real-life partner when she had a horrific accident a few years ago and was in hospital for a long time, and I wrote this at her bedside when she was surrounded by dying people. She's fine now. Good. Hooray for that. This one's called All That's In Between. And it's about love and forgiveness and all the things that one hopes to get in one's life. Well, the book, my life, maybe second-hand. You may still find a few petals pressed between its pages. I'll give you all the ellipses and ampersand. If you'll just save your et ceteras for me. I knew you were crying in the next room, but I feigned a deafness to the patter of those tears. I tried to find inspiration in a vacuum, but I lacked the provision of years. Our lives were elsewhere and we knew it. So with a sundial for a compass, we turned away from the light. But between opening that door and walking through it, the roads all receded from sight. And I know I'm not all that you wanted, but I'll be all that you need for the day, the night, and everything in between. You know I'll never feel easy in this skin, and I will only accept happiness when there's nothing left to long for. I've no time for the times we are living in. They're just a tourniquet for glory days gone before. They say regrets are always the last to leave, as we move further away from the memories that define us. You can take hope, you can take heaven, but not simultaneously. And our footprints don't remain long behind us. And I know I'm not all that you wanted, but I'll be all that you need for the day, the night, and everything in between. You say you'd rather see the devil in its true form than embodied in the deeds of men and boys. Don't wish these worries dead, prefer them unborn. This isn't silence, we're all just waiting for noise. And I know I'm not all that you wanted, but I'll be all that you need for the day, the night, and everything in between. My life is second-hand, but what fate annotates can never be erased. How long will I stay? As long as I can stand. Always, always, always. I'm not all that you wanted, but I'll be all that you need. For the day, the night, and everything